Hi everyone, this is Miss Mariah at the Allen County Public Library, and this is February's Adult Story Hour. It's a story hour we do each month, and it's for adults with special needs. We actually started this a little over a year ago. We had a great year. 2000, actually it's been a little longer than that. We started in 2019, had a great first year, and I think we met January, February of last year, and then COVID hit. So what I do is I read a book, usually pertaining to something that's going on in our world, or a subject that one of the people that come to the story hour, they're like, hey, I really like dragons. Or, hey, I really like so-and-so, flamingos, and then I find a book and we read that. Even one time we read Seabiscuit because it was Kentucky Derby time. And that, by the way, is a really good book. This month, of course, is Black History Month. And I wanted to read a book about diversity, but Miss Amanda's like, hey, I've got the book for you. I've heard about this book. I actually heard this author speak at a library conference 2019. Wonderful, wonderful author. She's African-American. She grew up extremely poor. Because of that, her family moved around and lived with relatives here and there. And she was actually from the South and ended up growing up and still living in New York City. So can you imagine spending your youth here in the South, and then because of dire situations and poverty, you have to move to New York? I know that we have a few people that come to the story hour who lived in, and I'm wanting to say the Bronx, maybe Brooklyn, and moved here. So I can't even imagine how that is, because we were talking about possums. They're like, oh, we have possums in New York too. So this book that I'm going to read, very lovely, and it addresses issues of segregation. And it's not segregation because the world told these two girls to segregate. It was actually their moms. And their moms weren't being mean. They weren't being horrible people. It was just that they were following in the same footsteps as their parents and their parents before them. So it is a very, very eye-opening, lovely, lovely story about change and having the courage to step outside your comfort zone and say, hey, I'm going to say hi to this little girl and find a lovely friendship. The book is called The Other Side, and it's written by Jacqueline Woodson. Again, if you can read her stuff, read it. Any kind of talks that she has, she's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful author. And this is, we have permission from Penguin House to read this. They're the publishers. Because we're still in the COVID time, and it's just really, that's how I feel. I wonder how you guys feel. Do you guys feel that same way? Because I know I do. I'm ready. I'm ready to get back. And fingers crossed, maybe we can, get together maybe outside when it gets warmer. Maybe we can figure out a way that we can meet outside. There won't be a craft with this because, I didn't find one that kind of went along with the book. So next month, maybe we'll do something. I know it'll be past St. Patrick's Day, but maybe we'll do something along that lines. Okay? So The Other Side. See how you can see here's what you would probably think like Jacqueline Woodson was probably like on her tire swing as a young child. And here is the little girl in the pink sweater. Here's where we're going to start seeing the doors and the eyes opening. That summer, the fence that stretched through our town seemed bigger. We lived in a yellow house on one side of it. White people lived on the other. And Mama said, Don't climb over that fence when you play. She said it wasn't safe. So look at that. Very pretty. That summer, there was a girl who wore a pink sweater. Each morning, she climbed up on the fence and stared over at our side. Sometimes I stared back. She never sat on that fence with anybody. That girl didn't. So you can tell already, like the girl in the pink sweater, she's curious because she sees this other little girl over there playing, and they're both by themselves. Once when we were jumping rope, she asked if she could play, and my friend Sandra said no, without even asking the rest of us. I didn't know what I would have said. Maybe yes, maybe no. So right then, she's like, you know, I wished I could have made that decision. See? And you see them, and they're all just little girls. But there's that big old fence, right? That summer, everyone and everything on the other side of that fence seemed far away. When I asked my mama why, she said, because that's the way things have always been. Sometimes when me and Mama went into town, I saw that girl with her mama. She looked sad sometimes, that girl did. Don't stare, my mama said. It's not polite. So see, she's already seeing this little girl without the fence. And she realized, you know, sometimes when I see her, she seems kind of sad. It rained a lot that summer. On rainy days, that girl sat on the fence in a raincoat. She let herself get all wet and acted like she didn't even care. Sometimes I saw her dancing around in puddles, splashing and laughing. My mama was like that. She loved to play in the rain. So here's this little girl. She's over here. She doesn't care that it's raining. She's having a good time. Mama wouldn't let me go out in the rain. That's why I bought you rainy day toys, my mama said. You stay inside here where it's warm and safe and dry. But every time it rained, I looked for that girl, and I always found her somewhere near the fence. So she's already very curious about her. Someplace in the middle of that summer, the rain stopped. When I walked outside, the grass was damp and the sun was already high up in the sky. And I stood there with my hands up in the air. I felt brave that day. I felt free. Here she is. Doesn't she look happy? I got close to the fence. There's our lights. They went out again. I got close to the fence, and that girl asked me my name. There we go. Clover, I said. My name's Annie, she said. Annie Paul. I live over yonder, she said. By where you see the laundry, that's my blouse hanging on the line. She smiled then. She had a pretty smile. Look at them. They both have pretty smiles. They look happy. And then I smiled, and we stood there looking at each other, smiling. It's nice up here on this fence, Annie said. You can see all over. I ran my hand along the fence. I reached up and touched the top of it. A fence like this was made for sitting on, Annie said, and she looked at me sideways. I like this, Annie. My mama says I shouldn't go over the other side, I said. My mama says the same thing, But she never said nothing about sitting on it. Neither did mine, I said. See, friendship's already found a way, hasn't it? That summer, me and Annie sat together on that fence, and when Sandra and them looked at me funny, I just made believe I didn't care. That's good, Clover. Some mornings my mama watched us. I waited for her to tell me to get down from the fence before I break my neck or something, but she never did. I see you made a new friend, she said one morning, and I nodded and Mama smiled. That summer, me and Annie sat on that fence and watched the whole wide world around us. See, her mama liked the fact that she has made a new friend. It's just sometimes hard to break what you've been told and what people around you've done for so many years. One day, Sandra and them were jumping rope near the fence, and we asked if we could play. I don't care, Sandra said. And then we jumped. Sandra and me were partners the way we used to be. So see, Sandra just needed a little bit more time, a little push, and she's having a good time. When we were too tired to jump anymore, we sat up on the fence, all of us in a long row. Look at that. Someday, somebody's gonna come along and knock this old fence down, Annie said. And I nodded. Yep, I said, someday. How much you wanna bet that those two little girls' friendship, it tore down a whole lot more than that old fence, didn't it? And I love the fact that when she was writing it, it wasn't, the little girls never said that white girl or that black girl. They just said that girl. You know, they were curious about each other, not because of their color. It's just, there's this little girl over there playing all by herself, and I'm over here playing all by myself. Why can't we play together? Wonderful book. I've always, the first time I read it, I was like, this is a great book. And then when I got to meet the author, I was like, now I see why it's such a great book, because she wrote from what she had learned. So the other side, Jacqueline Woodson, Jackie Woodson, I think is what some people call her, but we're going to call her Jacqueline because that's what's on the book cover. Wonderful, wonderful book. And just, I want to encourage you guys, because I know some of you had to, deal with this, because people will sometimes look at you differently. Try not to look at people because of one way or another. They're just a person. And we all need to understand that, right? And this book, I just absolutely love this book, and I'm so glad I got to share it with you guys. So this has been Miss Mariah. I know it's kind of short, but we'll get together, and I promise I'll keep watching the numbers here in town. And when it gets warm enough, we can all get together, maybe do like an outside craft, something fun, get us all kind of loosened up and familiar with one another again. Because I know I miss you guys. And I hope at least one or two of you miss me. I know some of you, I follow you guys on Facebook, and I love seeing you guys playing in the snow and making food and playing with your pets and having a good time. And I'm like, man, I miss them. So this is Miss Mariah from the Allen County Public Library. This has been Adult Story Hour. And I encourage you guys to go back and watch previous months if you haven't already. And if there's a craft that you want to do and I don't have the stuff together, just let me know and I'll get it together for you. And we'll, I want everybody to have a good time, especially while we're all kind of, stuck at home more than we're used to. So I will see you next month, and I promise to have a craft next month. Like I said, maybe something to do with St. Patrick's Day, or maybe traditions from another culture. You know, I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll think of something fun. We'll do it together. All right. Bye, you guys.